And welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the P-40F and the P-40E. I'm going to review them together because they are very similar. They are the same BR and you're going to play them very similarly. The one with the pink and purple and black, that's going to be the E. And the primary difference between the E and the F, hold on, let's kill this guy. Gotta hit, gotta fire. And severe damage in first strike. The primary difference between these two models is going to be their performance above and, well, right at like 3,000 meters, right? So the E, which is what I'm flying right here, does not have any supercharger gears. It does not do well, does not perform well above 3,000 meters. Now, that's not stopping me from getting above 3,000 meters, as we can see here. I do always suggest that you side climb no matter which one, because you can always turn altitude into energy. That's always an available option to you if you have the altitude. If you don't have the altitude, you don't have that option. So still do climb, but know that you are going to perform way better under 3,000 meters in the E. This guy hits, fire. All right, but yeah, I started this series flying the P-40, the E, because I got it through the Twitch drops, and I just liked the skin, and I thought it'd be fun to fly it. I haven't played low tier in a while. I did that little short video on spading this, and you guys wanted to have a full review of the P-40, so here we go. Now, the game that we're watching in the background is not particularly amazing about any one thing. I will call out things as I see them, like I'm cutting throttle so that I don't overspeed, even though this thing does really well in a dive. I think you can get like 700 plus kilometers an hour, but you will compress into the ground, so watch your speed in a dive. Short disclaimer about this video. This is long-form, full gameplay, mistakes and all, footage of me slowly going from decent in the P-40 to pretty good in the P-40. This is not a kill montage. This is me trying to talk through my gameplay as I get slowly better with the P-40. So you will see mistakes, and it is kind of long in places, but I encourage you to watch the whole thing because I'm making these videos for people that don't really know how to approach an air RB match from the start with a P-40. So you're going to have to side climb, and then you're going to have to negotiate the altitude differences and things like that. And I'm trying to show more of the match so that you have more experience with seeing what you should be doing. Because I know how to play Air RB, and then I just have to figure out how to play the P-40 and how it plugs into Air RB meta. So that's what this video is intended for, is for someone who's learning the P-40 and maybe newer to the game and newer to Air RB. Please like and subscribe and enjoy. Thanks, guys. We're booming and zooming. This is not... revelatory sort of gameplay. This is not groundbreaking gameplay. This is what you do in American props at every BR and almost every single American prop is boom and zoom. And everybody says, well, if it's a kind of a crappy plane, then do boom and zoom, right? And the P-40 kind of falls into that. It's not like, I guess you need to know your limits. And what I'm showing you here right now is that you can have a successful game if you just know your limits and you do the boom and zoom thing. You can have and do this method with the P-40. You can do this with all planes at low tier, kind of. So this is not super special. I just wanted to show it to you to show you what a typical game should look like. And then as we get a little further into this review, you'll see what the plane is actually capable of doing. We have all the energy. We're pushing 450, and I am diving at this guy at an off angle. He's going to turn into me and burn all his speed and energy trying to turn into me, and then I'm just going to go up over his nose. He's not going to be able to follow, even though he is a 109, but he's a low tier 109, and I had way more energy, so we're just going to complete our turn. Now, he makes a mistake here where he tries to keep going up, and that's again just maybe a low tier pilot. He tries to keep going up, but I have way too much energy, so I'm just gonna go up there. But again, 7 kill game, nothing special. Did not stretch the capabilities of the P-40 that much. Okay, now we've got that out. And here's another one, 6 kill game. I'm not even gonna show it, but I mean, just not super special. The other thing is P-40 is not, it's not like the best plane ever. Like, you need to know your limits. I died quite a bit flying this thing out. This thing has its limits, and you will die probably. So let's talk about the E variant first. So this is going to be a game where I get, I think, 5 or 6 kills. What has happened here is I side climbed, and then I got dove on by that bomber, and I was above 3,000 meters, so it was an extended dogfight. It wasn't very interesting, but it was extended because he was kind of making it difficult, and I was above 3,000 meters. Here we have a Spitfire sort of nosing up for me. We're going to go over the top. We're going to show him my wingtip. We're going to blade over him, and then we're going to drop at him. He's trying to dive out, but not doing it well enough. You can see we don't immediately get a fire like late war belts, so we just kind of have to chew him up. But he's pretty much done, and then we have the C-3604 coming in. Do not take a head-on with those things. They have crazy canyons in the nose. And then we have all of the speed, so we're going to turn it back into altitude. We're going to leave the Spitfire in the dust, and we're going to make sure we escape from the C-3604. I noticed that I don't have any ammo, so we're going to RTB. So we leave the Spitfire to his fate, and we RTB. They're in the chat, like, chanting for me to come back out and die, and so I oblige them. So this is me after I've taken off and rearmed. We're engaging the C-3604, which is the guy who he didn't airfield camp me, but he stayed close. So we're going to go under him and then go up because we want to get close and get slow. So he had the altitude advantage, but he doesn't have the maneuverability advantage. So now he's diving for speed for turn. You're going to have to excuse my shots a little bit. There is a bit of a rudder issue with the P-40s. It's very similar to the P-51. If you fly on the P-51s. At high speeds, it just kind of doesn't want to cooperate. Kind of wants to get a little sluggish. So we're just doing a scissors. He's trying to get me to overshoot, to his credit. I've cut throttle, so we're just kind of waiting on him to get in front of my nose. Each time I'm thinking like, oh, this will be a cool little shot when he goes across my nose, and I'll, you know, severe him or catch him on fire or something. It just doesn't happen. So it ends up being a very anticlimactic kill. I've shot him up a lot, but he's just not wanting to die. I am noticing now that I am the target of a blind hunt, and I don't know where those guys are, so it starts to be a little bit more pressing, so I want to get this guy killed. I use a lot of ammo to do it. But he's finally down, and now I'm trying to turn away from everywhere towards the middle of the map because I don't know where they are. And they definitely know where I am now because of blind hunt. So I'm trying to regain some altitude in preparation for being attacked by the rest of their team, and there's like 4 of them left. So there you go. There's the first one already coming out. I think, okay, we'll, you know, try and do a one-on-one. We'll turn the smoke on, but the one-on-one quickly turns into a 2v1. And so my plan here is to try and kill the Sakine quickly so that the Focke-Wulf 190, who I don't know if he'll respect the one-on-one, I can focus on him next. Get a little underneath, nose over on the Sakine. Almost get guns around there, and he, like, I guess was looking at me or was compressing. I'm not sure, but he's dead. So that's a Sakine. The thing wasn't very big of a threat anyways. Just don't take him in a head-on. And now we have the 190 diving on us. The 190 starts with a massive energy advantage. I probably should have turned off my smoke at this point, because I'm kind of giving him information. And I'm thinking at the beginning of this fight, I'll just out-turn him. Because he's a 190. Almost get guns on there. But he's got so much energy, he's actually turning tighter than me right now. So I'm trying to adjust this fight. Get a little wobbly in the stall right there. That cost me some position right there. So now I have to regain position again, which I'm thinking, okay, we're just going to out-turn this 190. And I'm using tactics that I should probably not be using, which is I'm trying to do a spiral climb. And I think his engine's just better. And he's actually not losing the position that I thought he was. So I'm then taking him all the way up and really I'm hoping that he's not using his flaps at all. And I'm using my full landing flaps. And it kind of works. He does sort of overshoot, but then I get myself in a really bad position there. Get out of his guns, and then to get out of his guns, I end up having to gain speed. So now I'm fully cut throttle, because I've got full flaps, and I want him to really overshoot. And he finally does overshoot, and he does the right thing. He goes up, which if you overshoot and you have more energy, you should go up. And then he kind of comes around, which that was a good move. But I go up, and I stall myself out again, thinking that if I was in like a P-47, I would have maybe made that shot. In the P-40, it does not like to go slow, so he goes up and kicks over. Good for him, good move again. And so now he's behind me again, and I've got to regain position again. So this time I dive, and I say, okay, fine, I am going to outturn you this time. And so I just use the P-40's better turn rate, and I'm really trying to stay off of his nose. I know he's maybe going to get a shot here, so I go back up. I don't want him to get a shot. And this time, I really, like, I basically come to a stop. Like, you can see 50 kilometers an hour. And that's a really kind of bad position for the P-40 because you don't really have a lot of control in the stall when you're coming out of it. But I did okay, and we're kind of back reset again. So I go up again, and this time I'm gonna try and not get completely stalled out. I'm gonna just hold down the elevator this time to really keep it going. And this is where I finally start to keep or gain and hold some position. So now we're in a turn, and I've got him here. And unfortunately, he puts it in the ground, but I had finally gotten where I was behind him with a little bit of speed, and he was a little bit of speed, and he would have had to have found some way to get me to overshoot, and that wasn't probably going to happen that time. So as soon as I had gained position, he accidentally put it in the ground. That was a great fight. I learned a lot from that fight. I learned about don't get it too stalled because it doesn't want to behave. So just a couple minutes later, the 109 is overhead, and I learned to I certainly don't want to go in a stall fight with a 109, so we're just going to keep our speed up, and we're going to use our regular tactic of trying to get them to overshoot, barrel roll over the top of them, and get on their 6. So we're going to try and get him fast, we're going to try and get him compressing, but it is a little dangerous because some of these planes are not very fast, so they'll accidentally stay on your tail and not overshoot. So we pull in a little tighter. See how he's not overshooting super fast. He's actually like taking a long time to overshoot, but eventually the compression takes over. He shoots out over my nose and I get some hits. He panics and goes higher, but I get more hits, and now he really panics and pulls in a turn, which is the exact wrong move here. I should have had him right there. I mean, I had all the ability. I just was a little slow, and so I couldn't pull quite as much lead as I needed to. But now he goes back up, which it's a half a kilometer shot, and I can make that shot, and so that knocks him out of the match. Again, learned some stuff last time, like to not really get stally and to kind of let him overshoot. That was a much better, cleaner fight. If you see a 3-minute fight on like reels or whatever, it's probably because somebody's making a mistake. Like one person will make a mistake, and then the other person will let the other person regain advantage or something like that. So. But I ended up losing that match because I just didn't have enough time to kill the last bomber, and we lost, so that was a bummer. Alright, so this match is actually in the F, which has the above 3,000 meters supercharger gear. And I gotta tell you, I don't like it as much as the E, because you very easily get yourself in a position where you can be above 3,000 meters, but you probably shouldn't be. In this match in particular, though, I tended to be the only one that climbed, so that worked out for me. Spraying a head-on with the B-239. Go up over his nose. It's a Buffalo, so you gotta kind of treat him like a biplane. They can just kind of nose up and hang, so you gotta be careful with them. Kind of seeing what he's gonna do here. Looks like he's diving out. So we're gonna keep our altitude, and we're gonna look for our next target, because the B-239 is aware he's a knower. So I don't want to go after him again because he knows that I am up there. And this P-40 looks asleep, so he's higher than the B-239, and he's kind of asleep. He wakes up, but he's super slow because he's been climbing, and he's trying to get his nose up to me. Decides that's not a good idea, and now he wants to dive out, but it is too late. Tear him up. Again, no fires. These are not late war belts. You're just going to shred him with AP, and he's going to fall out of the sky eventually, but the point of that is don't follow the 239 down. He dove out, and if you followed him down, then you would have been lower than that P-40. This Heinkel wants to dogfight with me, and you know, I've learned to kind of respect the fighters that want to dogfight because half the time they know how to use their gunners. So I just kind of do a basic dodge maneuver, and he's pulled so many G's, he's gonna basically rip his wing off, and I get the kill actually. So that worked out. I'm still above the whole enemy team. I am using manual engine control, so I need to be conscious of when and where to use the supercharger gears. But we're looking for targets at this point. We're above the enemy, and we're looking for our next victim, basically. You got some ground pounders. They can generally be ignored, the ground pounders, because they're going to burn up their ammo, and they're not looking for you. And so you want to get the folks that are more aware. Because if you get the ground pounders with your altitude, then the guys that are more aware will now come after you. So Yak 1 probably maybe does the right move, tries to nose up for me, but I just created space, and he's done. Like, he can't get his nose up anymore. That's a very safe shot, even though it doesn't look like one. He was already falling out of the sky. We tear him up again, get a fire on him, and he's going to burn up. So now we look at the ground pounders, right? So now we've gotten the people that want to play the PvP game, and now we go after the guys that are going for the PvE game. And you don't want to put yourself in a bad position, but you do need to knock them out of the match, right? Because you got to get them out of the match or they're going to drain your tickets, but you want to make sure that you can get back your altitude after you knock them out of the match. So that's what we're going to try and do with this 109. He's going after AI, so we're going to angle in, make a good shot, and then go back up. And we got a VL Mirsky taking off, looks like. And we have the 239, or one of the 239s, returning to base. So we're going to focus on this VL Mirsky. We want to jump on him before he gets altitude. We have speed and altitude over him. So we're going to kind of bait him to take a shot to us. We're going to act like we're going to take a head on. We're going to act like we're going to give him any kind of chance or prayer. Be careful with those like 50 cals, the sweet 50 cals, because they move, they're fast, they're very high velocity. But we're over the top now. He's burned his speed. He's trying to get his speed back, but we've already set him on fire. And he's so close to the runway, I really wanted to finish him off, so I pepper him with a couple more rounds. And then we go back up. You always want to go back up after a boom and zoom, as long as no one's like right on your tail. You want to make sure that you keep that hard-earned altitude, because you're not going to get altitude easy in the P-40. It's just, it is a very slow to climb plane. So now we are headed towards the 239 that is being chased by the Lag 3. I think we basically want to keep him from returning to base. He's just trying to run. I don't know if the Lag 3 can catch him. I think the Lag 3 can catch him, but generally... Oh, so he's gonna nose at me. Not gonna get involved there. We don't need to take that first pass. Don't turn a 2v1 into a 1v1 by taking that stupid head on. Get a couple of hits on him. Stay straight. Again, I can take this engagement kind of cautiously because it's 2v1, so I don't need to risk my plane for him to maybe get a shot on me. That would be stupid. We go back up. He's coming at me again. We just stay flat and over the top, let him burn out of his energy, and now we drop on him. And he is super slow, trying to gain it, but it's too late. Get a severe, and get his pilot, and then blow him up completely. So I'm even going to dive so that he's got some hope that he sees the distance closing, but I'm picking up speed. So now he thinks he's got a chance. He's closing within 1.5 kilometers, and then we're just going to throw the nose up. He is again still kind of closing. Thinks he's got a hope, but he just won't have the energy. He's been climbing really hard. We're going to go over the top. Really nice tight shot here. Immediately get a fire. He's done. I don't know why it wasn't severe, but that's it. That's the end of that game. A lot of energy traps in that. I wanted to show you, just don't take the stupid head on, guys. Like, use energy, use a speed, go up. This is going to be a short clip of a good dogfight with a 109E1, which you will face a lot of. We are in that short, I don't even remember the name of it right now, but the short takeoff. So Full head on, going to be a merge. Spraying the merge. Start spraying at about 1.8 kilometers because your 50s get out there sooner than his. I take some yellow damage, even more than that. I really probably, I don't know, I didn't want a full commit. We get the combat flaps out already. Trying to make this a tight turn. He actually did a better turn than me there. Maybe because I'm yellow, not sure. Or maybe just because he had better speed, not sure. But at this point, I'm very much on the defensive. And I'm trying to just stay out of his nose. Got the flaps down. I'm really trying to do a rolling scissors. But he keeps getting good shots on me. And I'm trying not to panic, basically. So now I finally cut the throttle, finally managed to get him to overshoot. And now we're going to, again, try and tighten up these spiral loops with the flaps. We're going to go really still try and cement my position behind him. He goes up, which is maybe the right move here. You can see I fight the stall a little better now this time. I know a little bit better how to control the P-40s in these stalls. And so if he went up, I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to rudder kick. And I don't know, that one, I love to tell you that I did all that on purpose. But I found myself recovering from that stall in that position, and I was like, oh, that'll work. So again, we're trying to stay in behind him and keep our speed so that if he goes up, I can go up with him. And at this point, he's well overshot. He knows he's cooked. So we only get a hit because, again, I'm near stall speed with full flaps and I can't really pull the nose into the shot. But we are on his 6 at this point. He knows that he's running for it. Get your flaps up, get your speed up. And I can make a half a kilometer spray shot dangerous enough to where he's going to maneuver. And when he does that, he's going to give up any kind of speed he's got. He's still trying to run for runway. But I think pretty much the dogfight's over at this point. He's got to at least be yellow and orange like I was before. I've obviously hit some wingtips and stuff. He was about to nose it in the ground anyways, but we do finish him off before he hits the ground. So that was a good fight. Mainly try and get out of the stall quicker, and you'll maybe be able to get to control where you come out of the stall. Alright, next match, as you can see, I am the highest friendly on the match, which you're going to deal with a lot, and there are 2 Focke-Wulf 190s up here high. Well, and this is pretty typical. They have just shot down the Wellington bomber, so I'm trying to jump them. We're going to go for the lower guy first. We're going to somewhat kind of ignore the high guy. It's a risk, but I want to get this guy out of the match soon, so it's not a 2v1. Really committing all my guns here. Don't want to let him get away. Do manage to knock him out. And so now we're in a 1v1 versus a Focke-Wulf 190 that has a speed and altitude advantage on me. So we're going to be working hard here. Always take them down. Get them to really try and compress and overshoot. This guy does the right thing. He goes up. And I'm trying to then... I'm not going to follow the first time, right? Don't follow. That guy had way too much speed, way too much altitude. Here he comes for his second pass. We're going to again... I'm trying to kind of drag the fight lower. I know I only have so much speed and altitude, but the lower we get, the better my engine performs. So I'm trying to drag the fight lower. He's coming in for his second pass. He was past him on the first time, and I'm thinking I've got more speed built up this time, so I'm gonna send it here. I can occasionally make one of these 800-meter shots. Get the flaps down. Really trying to close up space. He's not going up. He's going away from me. So I've got full flaps. When I recover from that stall, I'm actually going to just angle away and completely down. And that way, if he wants to chase, you know, it's going to take him a little bit of time to turn around to 180 towards me. And by that point, I'm already full commit down and away from him. So I did kind of stall out underneath him, but by the time he's going to get his nose back over, I'm going to be back up to speed and heading away from him. So again, here's his third run. I really want him to commit this time. He is closer, and I'm kind of waiting to dodge a little later. Hopefully he'll commit more. Again, he goes back up, so I've closed the distance a little bit more this time. As you can see, I'm already within 9.9, but he's he's faster this time, so I don't commit. I don't want to stall out again. He was much higher and faster, quicker that time. So we break off. Again, we had the direct 180 away from him to make him take all of that time to do his own 180, which allows me to get back up to speed. Here I'm going to really let him get close before I brake. He's already within 800 meters. Really trying to get him to bite down hard this time. 700 meters, and now I'm going to start to turn. But I've got more speed, more energy, and we're gonna really tighten that up. So he wasn't able to get in his climb fast enough, and I had gained more energy. I had really equalized a lot more energy that time. So he's committed to a dogfight this time. It's no longer an energy trap situation. This is now a dogfight, and I'm trying to take the lessons I used from the other fight, which is just kind of rate fight them. You can rate fight a 190 and a P-40, especially at speed, and especially when they don't have a massive energy advantage over you. So, downward spiral rate fight, I come out ahead. Now I've got position, and he's pretty much done. Good fight though. But I wanted to show you that because you're going to find yourself in that position a lot in a P-40 where the guy has advantage of altitude. And hello to that guy. He said he watches the channel, or at least he knows who I am. So it was a good fight. I just kind of had to stay patient and kept trying to close the gap after, but make sure you can get away too. All right, this is going to be the final game that I show. It's going to be in the E, which is my preferred variant. I don't like the F as much as I like the E, and I'll tell you why. You're like, well, why is that? The F is better. It can perform better at higher altitudes. Yeah, maybe, but the problem with performing better at higher altitudes is that you think you belong up there in a P-40, and you don't. You, as a P-40, belong under 3,000 meters. You do much better there. I know it's supposed to be not that much of a performance difference, but I feel it. I can't explain it. It's probably not on the stat card, but I feel the performance under 3,000 meters better in the E. And I got to tell you, the supercharger gear above 3,000 meters in the F does not make it up for what I think is a lack of performance. So you end up getting too high up, and you get punished by people and planes that are able to actually perform up at those altitudes. So it's not so much of a can you do it, but rather a should you do it. And I think you're better off being better at one thing, which is low altitude performance in the E, than trying to stretch a plane that never really belonged up at those altitudes in the F. So here we go. We've got a little bit of a low altitude dogfight. This is going to really illustrate what I'm talking about in the E. The E just belongs at these altitudes. This is like a 3v1 or 3v2 or 4v2. The 109s have the height advantage over all of us. So I want to show you what that's going to look like. So first off, this guy just doesn't have the speed to escape. I stayed away from the furball, and so I'm coming into this with a lot of speed. And when you have a lot of speed, you can zoom climb up to him. And as long as his buddy stayed too far away, which he did, I was able to zoom climb up and get some shots on that 109. So the other 109 is now coming at me way too late. I'm diving out. And he's going to get kind of close, but I've already picked up my speed. And I'm letting the other 109 burn up. The Object Z109 is focused on me for a little bit longer, but that's fine. We're going to take him into one of those turns. And again, I'm better at these altitudes. I'm going to roll around under his nose. He's going to go back up. Probably the right thing, but I've gained way too much speed in this situation. And so when he noses up, he doesn't not have enough energy to escape these shots. Now, is everybody at 2.7 going to be able to make a 500 meter shot? No. But I can. I punish him for it. And that's two 109s. So now I need to turn around, quit showboating with the smoke, and get on that KI-44. My American counterparts have all returned to base, so this is just me chasing the Key 44 now. We're alone. I'm right at my 3,000 meter limit, or performance envelope, if you will. And fortunately, he decides to turn around at this point. That's good. Spraying at, starting at 1.8 kilometers. Again, great for us. and he dodges too much and puts himself in front of my guns, and I take off probably most of his tail. And that's going to hamper him the rest of this fight, and that's why I stick with this fight. He goes up, he does a little stall maneuver. We're able to stall with him. You can see, really, I've finally gotten better at controlling the stalls in the P-40s. And I almost get guns on right there. That would have been a super cool, like, short right there. He goes back up. That's fine. He's got the engine to do it, but I don't think he's got the tail to do it. Kind of throws himself into a little bit of a spin stall. Again, we're a little better at controlling the P-40 stalls at this point. Basically, you need to get flatter sooner. But we keep him in front of our nose, and he's decided now that he needs to dive out. Probably the right move, but I'm in a P-40, so I'm pretty quick on the deck especially. So we're going to catch him. We just chase him. He's creating distance for now, but I know that's not going to stay. So we're just going to keep chasing him, keep looking around. And I know he's got a shut-up tail, so that's good. We're pushing around 700. My wings aren't going to rip off, so that's good. This is a really good advantage. I'm trying to get some shots in, making him dodge a little bit. He tries to pull out of that dive, and I think he snapped off a flap or something. I was so busy looking at him, I almost put it in the trees. But that's our third victory. And again, I just really kind of wanted to show why I like the E. The sub 3,000 meter performance just makes it worth it, in my opinion. Let's see if I can do a bit of a summary here, which is sort of like P-40, you know your limits. You're good but not great in a lot of things. Yes, you're playing low tier, but every now and then there's going to be a guy that's like high tier, so you can't get lulled into like low tier skills. Got to stay diligent. Seems like the most dangerous opponent that this BR seems to be the Focke-Wulf 190s. I think they just have the engine performance, and if someone knows what they're doing, they can really turn with you with the flaps. Obviously, Yak 1s, any Yak probably is dangerous, but you know, sort of know your lane, stick in it. That's why I like the E. Because there's a better lane. I would rather be better at one thing than mediocre at a lot of things. And the P-40 is already mediocre at a lot of things. So at least give me my one thing I'm pretty good at, which is under 3,000 meter engine. And so that's why I'm going to stick with the E. Plus it has that horribly ugly camo that I can fly with. But that's it. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe. You guys are awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll see you in the next one, guys.